Wilson, bring back the Pro Staff 90. So this is the iconic racket of Roger Federer, the one where he won 17 of his 20 majors. Throughout his career, he's played with 3 different rackets: the Pro Staff 85, the Pro Staff 90, and the RF 97 autograph that he currently uses. So the 90, it's a really beautiful racket, and just to give you a little bit of history, my own personal history, I've used it, I started using it in like 2010, and then went on and off with it. Then I listened to what people said. They said you need a bigger racket, you need to play the modern game. So I kept on switching back and forth between other rackets, but still always came back to this or always had one within my racket bag. So now the reason I like it is that it does what you want it to do. It's not going to give you free power or free spin, but it's going to win the collision with the ball. It's 12 and a half ounces strung, so that's about 354 grams or so strung, 339 grams unstrung. So let's talk a little bit about this racket. So first serves are a dream. It doesn't give you the free power of like a pure drive or Babla pure drive or a blade, but I find the placement is really good, and you kind of just let the racket do the work. So really use your kinetic chain, and you'll get good pop as well. Second serves I thought were pretty good. For a 90 square inch racket, it's a pretty open pattern. You can see the mains go pretty far down, and the crosses go pretty far down, and then they go pretty far up as well. So pretty open. You get some good spin, and you just go after your serves. Forehand is where I thought this really excelled. The balance and the swing weight and just the static weight just is perfect for me in terms of timing. Other companies have tried to make rackets that are similar. So Prince has done the Phantom 93P, both in an 1820 and a 1418 pattern. And for that one, the Phantom, I found that it kind of cut through the air a little bit too quick, so my timing was off. And then the string pattern is the 18 by 20 was just a little bit too flat, and the 14 by 18, the control was, unless you're putting in massive spin, like it was hard to control. And Angel, I think it's Angel, either Angel or Angel, another company based in UK, and what they've done is they have custom rackets, 90s, and one of them is a 90 square inch racket, and then you could customize it with the weight you want, as well as I think you could do. It comes with like a 70 stiffness, and then you could customize a couple other things as well. But anyhow, this has been the one that I found to be perfect on the forehand. I haven't tried the Angel yet, but this weight and balance were just perfect. So backhand, I think for me this is the reason why Federer switched from this to the 97A for his one-hander, and he was getting eaten up by Nadal, obviously, on clay and some other surfaces with the same pattern, but the high lefty topspin forehand to his backhand. So that's why he switched a bigger head size, and I think it makes sense. When I was hitting the one-hander with this, like, it felt sweet when you hit it, but again, with the high balls, it was a little bit difficult to time. So with the two-hander, I just hit with it yesterday for the first time in like 6 months or so. And the two-hander, it's really honest in that, like, it really promotes good form, because if you're just trying to arm the ball, then the ball's not going to go anywhere. Like, I had to really bend my knees and really drive through my legs to get power on the ball. And if I stayed focused and on that, then I got like really good power and good spin. So it's a good training tool, I'd say, for backhand. Volleys as well. Volleys were really solid. But with this, again, like with other rackets, it's not going to give you, you have to move your feet to the volley. But once you get to the volley, then this is really good at winning the collision with the ball and sticking the volleys. Touch, I love touch with this racket. So it's one where like you can just feel everything, and you can feel the ball kind of just die down as you hit drop shots or touch volleys. So yeah, this is one where I feel is a racket where you can keep it in a bag and then use it as a game development racket, right? So like, if I know me personally, I'll talk about myself. There are times when I feel so nervous, or like I forget how to play tennis, and then I need something to sort of reset me. So I've used the 85, the Pro Staff 85 to do that, but the 90 works really well for that, because if you're hitting with bad form, you're not going to get the ball in. This one really promotes that you hit the ball with good form. You hit the ball on in front, because you don't want, if it comes too far behind you, then you might get various wrist or elbow pain. And it promotes you using your legs and really letting the racket do the work, so letting the kinetic chain. And so like the ironic thing about this is like, it's a sort of a training racket, I found, but that you can also play pretty well with it, and you can use it in match play. So I actually used it yesterday during my ladder match versus the number one at the time. And it was one where like I hadn't used this racket for 6 months, and I could just come and it felt at home. But also, like, if you just want to use it to train, I found that I trained with this yesterday, and I switched back to my Diadem Elevator today. And I was like, wow, like the shots just feel so easy with the Diadem racket. Like, it's like yesterday I really grooved my form by using this, and then using the correct form and with a more modern racket, you could really optimize your speed and pace. So that's your speed and your spin. So that's something where I've enjoyed with this. So Wilson, the question for you is, why did you stop making this? I know that there are no pros that are currently using this, and it's going to be hard to sell in terms of the future level, because I think 98 square inch, 305 grams are like the most popular rackets these days. But there is a niche of people who would definitely love to continue to use this, and club players, this is great. Like, as you're getting older or you're doing more doubles, then this is a fantastic doubles racket. I found that it's really great at net, great for serves as well. Also really good for singles. Like, how many of us really face Rafael Nadal, who is going to exploit our backhands? So it's one where I find that it's pretty versatile, and I think you have to be pretty fit to use it. So again, it really helps you focus on what's the right technique is and how to hit the ball correctly. And then I think a lot of people say that you need to give someone a very light racket to start training with. But I actually find that using a heavier racket, if they can handle it, that it really helps promote good stroke mechanics. So you're really letting the racket do the work, and you are not overswinging per se. So I found that sometimes when you're overswinging, you can sort of get that. If you don't have the right form, you could get various pains. So I have this strung up with Diadem Solstice Power at 45 pounds. And with that, I find like I could really swing out and really go for my shots. So that's something I enjoy. And I think as long as you keep one thing with the 90, that if you read with a lot of what people say, is that you could pretty much put any string in this and it performs well. A lot of people even like this with synthetic gut. But with Solstice Power, I found that I could really swing out and I was getting good spin and good pace. I was really popping serves with this as well. So again, Wilson, like there's a 40-page thread on Tennis Warehouse Talk Tennis dating back to like 2015 or 16 called the Mighty ProSef 90 thread. And it's just saying how much people love this racket. So question is like, what's the cost for you to discontinue it? Like why discontinue? Why not just have it on as an option? Because I don't think it's going to cannibalize your sales for your other rackets, because this is pretty much unique on its own. And then if you're planning on releasing one when Federer retires, then you could still do both. Like you can still have like a regular ProSef 90 on the market now, and then release like a special RF autograph black 90 whenever he retires. So yeah, I definitely think you should consider bringing it back. And the last thing I have to say is, I know, Wilson, you didn't mean poorly by this, but the promotion Legendary is back when you, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, where you're promoting the RF97A. There was a huge contingent of people who thought you're bringing back the 90 or maybe re-releasing another 85. I think most people wanted the 90 back. But yeah, so if you're listening, then do consider. And in terms of the versions, I think I've played with 3 of the versions: the BLX, the K Factor, and this one, which is the latest one, the 2014. Can't remember what it's called, but whatever the 2014 version is called. K Factor was really nice in terms of it. I felt like it had a bit of higher swing weight and more weight at like 12, so that gave you a good pop. The BLX was probably the softest in terms of feel, so I think that could appeal to sort of middle ground, like people who wanted to use the 90. So that's the middle of the road one. And then this one, I feel like it's probably one of the most connected ones. I think they said that the one that Federer uses, the encode one, is probably the closest to the 85. But this one feels pretty connected, and it's one that I enjoy and one that really lets you enjoy the beauty of tennis. It's like driving a stick shift in a way, right? Take care. Again, this is Andy from Tennis with Andy.